is Mirella Kaell, your location gal, and you're on my podcast, Fire Chat with Mirella. Welcome. Hey, today I am really excited to have this special mystery guest on, and he is nothing short of but the Tom Cruise of real estate in Truckee. He's laughing. I told him to be quiet. In Truckee and Lake Tahoe area. Please help me welcome Dave Gove.
Hello.
Hi, Dave. I told you it was going to be big, so
Yeah.
you're going to live up to this now.
Mission Impossible tax. I'm up to
Okay.
Mission Impossible tax.
Mission Impossible. Well,
Yeah.
real estate these days, right? It can be, but hey, we're still here. So everybody take notice, all right? Well, don't worry. You're going to get the contact information on Dave for sure. And, you know, we are trekking along here. So let me ask you, because I haven't talked to you in a while. I just want to make sure everything's fine. Anything new and exciting in your life?
Yeah, lots of new and exciting things happening right now. My wife and I just had a baby.
I'm so excited for you. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. It's,
already. And how old is the baby?
He is just a little over 3 weeks now. So he's
oh my goodness,
a brand new little guy. Yeah.
How sweet. What's his name?
His name's Jackson William.
Wow, that is a fantastic name. I love it. So I'm so happy for you. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I just want to say we haven't spoken in a while, so it's so nice to you know, touch bases again and see how it's doing. And I can see your branding is just out of control.
Yeah.
I have to congratulate you because I've already checked out your YouTube channel. It's amazing. You're a complete natural. So I was not actually exaggerating when I gave you that title, because I think you're just, you know, taking it to the next level. And this is where we need to be in our lives. Whatever we're doing nowadays, we have to be present because otherwise nobody's going to know anything about us. We all have to become comfortable with it. So I want to know, because you know, we briefly said, you know, yeah, it's Mission Impossible, but how is the market over in your area? And I will give you a hint on what's going on over here, but in Santa Clara County. But just to let you know where Dave is, because most people who are listening to me, they know I'm in Northern California, in Silicon Valley, the Bay Area. Well, Dave is about what, 2 hours drive or 3 hour drive from us?
Probably, yeah, 2 to 3 hours, depending on what part.
Depending on traffic.
Yeah,
and
right.
everything.
Yeah, so I'm in Truckee, California, and my market is the greater Truckee and North Lake Tahoe market. So I service all of Truckee and some points north and up to the summit, and then also down to the north and west shore of Lake Tahoe.
Fantastic. And Lake Tahoe, I'm sure it's actually famous. So, you know, most people actually kind of know where it is, right? Where Lake Tahoe is located. But it's beautiful.
But yeah,
you would think, but not everybody knows. So that's why I'm leading with this, because you know, the lucky part of living in the Bay Area is that we are about a 2 hour or 3 hour drive from each, the mountains and the ocean. And it's absolutely amazing where we live. So this is why people want to come here and they want to live here. And, you know, I don't blame them, but we do have a big housing crisis. And the market, speaking of which, over here in Santa Clara County, it's been crazy, right? We have still pretty low inventory, I would say, but we have some properties coming on the market, new listings, getting ready. So right now we're about 1,100 properties in Santa Clara County. How are you guys doing over there comparatively, let's say, between now and last year, or how is the market over there right now?
Yeah, it's interesting times right now. You know, like everywhere, we've had low inventory for the past 18 months. And it's just been a crazy over-ask slugfest to get into deals. You know, if properties priced correctly, had, you know, 5, 10, 12 offers and selling for, you know, 10, 15, 20% over asking. We recently, though, in the past few weeks have seen a little bit of a dip in buyer activity and buyer confidence. I launched 3 listings in April, and if I had launched those listings in February, they probably would have been multiple offer and gone. And right now they're just accruing days on market. So I think we're in a little bit of a period of just uncertainty. but typically our sales season really is from June till December. People don't really want to move and deal with moving in the middle of winter when it could be snowing, 6 to 12 inches a day up here.
Yes, absolutely. And that's, that is very much the situation here in our market as far as days on market, even though we are still, we're in a different area, right? So our Silicon Valley is very, very demanding as far as people, buying primary properties, right? For the most part. And it's, it's still very, very quick as far as the properties, getting sold, and the competition's fierce as far as pricing. However, what you mentioned about the number of offers, we do have a slowdown here just as well. So we don't have as many offers. It's not as crazy during the open houses. By no means is this in any way a normal or balanced market. We are not there, but we are, as we both know, Dave, real estate is a cyclical animal, so it's gonna always go up and down. And so, that's kind of what we expected, right? And
Yeah.
Most experts, even though we don't have crystal balls, but we expected that to happen, because all the experts were saying, the economists, that this was gonna go on. And as we know, the rates, right? They are being they're trying to counteract inflation. So the Fed is raising the rates, and that was as well to be expected. Now, some people forget that, yes, we've enjoyed such wonderful rates at, 2s and even lower, and 3s, and crazy rates. And they forget that we were in 7s and 10s and 11s back in the past, So like now they go crazy when they hear 4 and 5, and it's like, you know what? It's not such a bad rate.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I mean, definitely we certainly got spoiled with these crazy low interest rates. And if you look back over the last 30 years, they're actually still low. So, I'm trying to coach people like, hey, yeah, rates are going to go up, and they're going to go up more. So if you're truly interested in buying and getting a deal, now is still the time. As a matter of fact, it might even be a better time because of the fact that you can maybe able to get in there and negotiate a discount or some sort of better terms with sellers right now.
Absolutely. So I would encourage the buyers to, and I tell my clients the same thing. It's like, even if they've been hesitant or on the sidelines, even though we were able to land a property just recently in Oakland, very beautiful with the view of San Francisco. Woo!
Nice.
But this was back when we still had 17 offers, so 16 against us. So it was interesting. But anyways, yeah, it was a journey. This wasn't like overnight. So we wrote, like 5 offers over a year's time, and hallelujah, we were able to land this one. But I have other clients who are also eyeing the market and trying to figure out how to get in there. And, but luckily they're not discouraged completely, but definitely, like you said, this will be the time. If you want to, negotiate, find out. The important thing is always to know, be in contact, your realtor needs to be in contact with the listing agent. If, what's going on, find out what the seller wants, right? Yeah. Like how long do they have to stay there? I had a listing where I had to stay for, 29 days after closing. So you want to know these things up front. So when you're writing your offers, you can, you can cater to that, right? But I want to turn around now and focus on you, Dave, because you're the star of this show. And I want to know a little bit about your background.
Yeah, okay. Well, so I have a construction and development background. I started as a tradesman a long time ago when I was, just out of high school. And then I kind of worked my way up through the trades, learned different trades, carpentry and drywall, tiling, plumbing, things like that. And then eventually I became a general contractor, did that for a long time. And then I got into doing some project management for some real estate developers. And about 9 years ago, I was here in Truckee and working for running a multifamily project, kind of doing, well, really running the entire project, overseeing the builders, dealing with the sales team, dealing with subdividing the land and managing that process through the consultants and the town agencies and what have you. And I started to get to know some of the real estate agents that were selling these properties. And I was taking a look at their workload and their lifestyle and their compensation, and also their, business acumen or lack thereof, and decided I would go ahead and get my license. And it's been, this is my 5th year as a licensed real estate agent here, and my 3rd year full time. I still had some construction projects to wrap up. Coincidentally enough, I was wrapping up my last construction project the first quarter of 2020, and was going into real estate full time right then, and was just like,
yeah,
I was sweating bullets for a few minutes there, as a working, out of the house and not knowing what was going to happen with the market. I had a bunch of listings that were new construction that I had just generated out of my relationships with local developers, and just thought, oh man, this might be a disaster. And it was like getting shot out of a cannon, so
absolutely.
yeah.
So yeah, people sometimes don't realize, it is kind of like going to the edge of the cliff, and and you either fly or fall, right?
Yeah.
You kind of, I mean, no matter when. But then you have these different conditions that can happen to the market, to the economy, to other things. So congratulations. It's a big leap of faith, but you've been doing great. And if anyone, is in your hands, I'm sure they are going to be happy because of your background. I mean, you also have background in flipping properties.
Yeah, I flipped a few properties myself. And so, yeah, a lot of my clients really like that. I've got some spec builder clients. They understand, they like working with me because I can lean into their projects and help them out with permitting issues and some of that management. And then people coming up here to buy second homes that need to be fixed up, or maybe trying to see if they can, put an addition on, or what are, some different options. It really helps me help them to see with, my builder's lens, to say, hey, this would be a good place where you could do an addition, or in a lot of cases, I'm not afraid to say, do not buy this house. Let's go.
I love what you just said, Dave.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you that I am one of those sticklers to that as well. And I have people deer in the headlights, like surprised when I say things like this to them. Like, I really don't think this is your home. I don't think you can handle this. The clients will tell me, like, you're not saying anything. How come she's not saying anything? I'm like, I'm just going to let you figure it out. Just go across, go around it, and then we're going to talk. And I said, well, okay, so this guy doesn't even want to do a termite inspection on this home. You guys barely have time to see the house. When will you have time to oversee a project? You are not an investor. Even if you get a deal on this house, you'll have it for like what, $1 million, and then you put in 250,000 to even maybe dig up a problem. I mean, people sometimes, and I will walk away anytime. I have no problem walking away, canceling. If I don't think this is the right thing for my clients, I will tell them straight up. And I love what you just said. And I can tell it about you. And by the way, I'm going to tell people how I came across you. And this is because I was looking for, and by the way, that's still standing. I don't know where they are. They're not selling right now. But, I have a client who has a couple of properties out in Truckee. And I was looking for someone, a referral partner out in your area. And I called several agents, and I have to tell you, you immediately stood out. First of all, I think you either picked up the phone, or you called me back immediately, or you texted me that you would call me back. And I mean, that was, communication is number one. If I don't hear back, and I'm supposed to give someone in your hands that I care about as family, because my clients are like, how they are. They're gold, right? They're the important part of the whole thing, their life, because their life cannot go on. The next step of their lives cannot go on until we help them with the project that they have at hand. So, I mean, usually, right? I mean, it's not always this dramatic, but it can be. And, it's so important, I mean, to us, to form these relationships. And then, for someone to not return my call when I tell them that I'm willing to do that, for 2 days, to me, it's like, okay, no. So Dave is on top of it, everybody. And obviously, you know what you're doing. So I have to tell you that I have a lot of faith in how you would handle my client, that you would handle them not as good, even better. I know that you have, with all the background that you have, and everything that you do out there. It's amazing. And, you know, and I know that we're going to be working together for a long time because, you know, I plan to be around for a while, maybe not as long because, you know, I'm a grandmother.
Ah, nice.
We have 3 grandkids between us by now. So they're little. We started early, but you know, hey, you know what? It's a blessing. So to make this world a better place for your baby, for my grandkids, you know, this is what we want to do, is help people solve their problems, find a solution. Now, speaking of that, you know, investments are big, right?
Yeah. The question was, we were talking earlier about second homes and what is going on with that portion of the market right now. So over the lockdown, the use of Airbnbs really exploded, and the community pushed back on that. The community started using a term called over tourism. You know, our community is a second home community. We are a resort community, and our economy is driven predominantly by tourism. And we felt like we just kind of got overrun, you know, where all these Airbnbs, you know, hotels were shut down. There wasn't any regulation on people renting homes. And so we would see all these houses get rented out, and just big parties were happening, and we would have nuisance parking issues and trash issues, and that leads to wildlife, you know, issues, to bears getting into food, and on and on. So there's been a lot of dialogue in the community over the past 12 months or so in how to manage this. And the town of Truckee just cracked down hard on short-term rentals. So they've capped the amount of short-term rentals at 1,255, but they also have initiated a cooling off period. So if you buy a property and you want to do a short-term rental, you have to own the property for a year before you can apply to get the short-term rental permit, of which there are only 1,255. So the short-term rentals permits don't convey at sale. So anytime short-term rental sells, then that will free up a permit. I don't expect that we're going to see any new short-term rental permits to be available probably for the next 5 years or so in the town of Truckee. So that's the town of Truckee limits proper. Truckee's unique in the fact that it has a county line running kind of almost right through the middle of town. So Truckee proper is in Nevada County, but then there's air quotes Truckee, which is in Placer County. So Placer County has managed it different, and they still do have some short-term rental permits available. So Placer County and a little bit of Truckee, and then like the North Star area, and then most of Kings Beach, North Shore, Tahoe City, and on down the West Shore, down to Homewood, still has short-term rental permits available. So those buyers are still out there strong, and we believe that will kind of temper some of the buying activity here. So my expectation is that we are now at a point where, because of interest rates and because of the short-term rental permit situation, we're going to be transitioning back to a normal market where we have buyers and sellers working together to make the deal happen, instead of just highest and best and over ask and no inspections and no contingencies and all that stuff. So sellers are going to have to work a little bit harder to make sure that their property is in good shape, and probably have to make some concessions to buyers at this point.
Yes, well, that was a great update. Thank you so much on that. It was actually my next questions I wanted to ask you is just about that, about the short-term versus long-term rentals.
Yeah.
And I can totally understand, because this has happened kind of in a lot of communities, right? When they first went gung-ho and said, okay, well, let's have all these Airbnbs or Verbos or whatever they were.
Yeah.
And then they found out that people were being very, very irresponsible about these properties, and became a real nuisance for these neighborhoods. And so I totally get that. I like that there is still a possibility, right? If they own a property for at least a year, do they have to live in that property?
No.
Themselves? No.
No. So they can buy a property and they can use it for themselves. They could rent it out long term. The definition of a long-term rental and a short-term rental is 31 days. So, I think we may see some more unique rental situations. People, a lot of people will do like a ski lease, and those typically go from around the 1st or 15th of December to around the, 1st to 15th of April. And then, they use the property in the summer. I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing some 90-day rental type of terms. And, and with that, you're going to get somebody that's going to be probably a little bit more, have a little bit more of a vested interest in the community, as opposed to somebody that's coming up for 3 or 4 nights just to party and, blow off steam. The type of person that's going to be a work from home type of person that can come up here and do a 90-day stint is going to want to come up here and participate in all of the things that we do up here, the skiing, the hiking, mountain biking, just general enjoyment of the outdoors and the beautiful environment that we have up here. And, it's easy to come to a place and act like a jerk for 3 days, but you can't act like a jerk for 3 months and then not have somebody come.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good point. And so there are ways for the right people, basically, people with the right behavior, right? Who want to be part of the community and not just come and take advantage of it, so to speak, right? So
exactly.
So that sounds good. And so you mentioned 30 days is the minimum, right? After they own it 1 year.
Yeah, right. So 31 days. So anything less than 31 days is considered a short-term rental.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So you buy a property, you could rent it out to somebody, you could use it yourself. It could be your primary residence, whatever.
Okay.
You can sit empty,
Okay, wonderful. Now, Dave, you're still the on the planning commission of Truckee, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. I am the current planning commission chair for the town of Truckee there, and I serve with 4 other planning commissioners.
Fantastic. So there is that, everybody. Take note. I love that. So see, talking about an investment into the community and how, you're part of the fabric of the community. You're not just hanging out there by yourself. So you are definitely part of it. Just wanted to know, also, I saw your tour of that beautiful home. My gosh.
Which one?
The 4.2 million one.
Oh yeah, okay, right. Yeah, that's a beautiful house.
I pay attention. Oh my goodness. How about those white European oak floors? Or how about, I love your enthusiasm, by the way. You guys, I wasn't exaggerating. You need to see Dave's videos because you're so excited. You're like me, you're like, your enthusiasm just jumps out of the screen because you love it so much, right?
Yeah, that house, so my wife and I we're building a house right now too.
All right.
And I came home from that house and I was like, hey, we got to look
building that.
We got to look at this interior. Like this is what I think our house should be.
You know what? It came across in your tour.
Yeah.
This was definitely like from your heart. And you were like, dude, I can see my family living here. I could see that. And I was like, wow, this is so exciting. And I agree with you. The art tour, you guys will have to check out this tour. By the way, I will put links, all kinds of links in the description. So you can get to Dave's channel and you can see this tour and much more. And please do subscribe because you don't want to miss any of his future videos because I know he's going to be doing weekly updates, he said. Wink, wink.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know how that goes, but it doesn't matter. Even if it's not weekly, you have a newborn, you have a way out. This is your excuse. You have an excuse. But
I've got about 7 videos in the can right now. As a matter of fact, after this podcast, I'm going to interview one of my mortgage partners, and we're going to talk about what's going on with the interest rates. We're going to unpack what the difference or how basis points translates to interest rates. So that's one of the things that consumers, even I have a hard time understanding it sometimes. So keep a lookout for that.
Fantastic. I'm already subscribed, so I'm gonna look for that. And that reminds me, I need to give a call to my lending partner and do another update with him because I do podcasts with him as well. And speaking of which, lending, and I was going to ask you if you are yourself a mortgage broker, but it sounds like you have a great partner, so you don't need to be. And so do I. So just to let everybody know, it's 50-50. It's basically 50% of your success is who does your mortgage and 50% is who your realtor is, right?
Yeah.
Because without them, people don't realize how important it is. You can't just get anybody. And, you know, of course, people have a choice. They don't have to go with a specific person. But, okay.
Yeah. Well, and you want to develop those relationships first, right? I mean, that's the most important thing. And I think some people, you know, they don't understand the whole, you know, how much goes into this process. They think that, oh, we're just realtors, they just go around opening doors and you know, showing houses, and it's, you know, that's about it. But
they have no idea until they actually see what's going on, and then like, oh, thank God, thank you so much for doing this. Oh my God, they don't realize how much we actually do behind the scenes and how much we're invested in this.
Yeah,
you know?
and they also don't. I find that a lot of people don't realize, unless they've done it a couple times, how intense this process is. You know, and how much pressure it puts on them, both buyers and sellers. You know, we see it every day, so it's easy for us to stay calm, cool, and collected, because we all know
we have to be
navigate the waters. But you know, you don't want to get into this with somebody who you're not going to you know, enjoy working with. And I see that, you know, where people just, they go see a house and they make an offer with the person who's doing the open house, not knowing anything about them. And then all of a sudden you're in one of the most stressful, complex deals of your life with one of the, you know, if the biggest investment of your life possibly. And you're working with somebody you don't even want to talk to anymore. I mean, it's not the right way.
And the problem also is people don't realize that when you get into contract, let's say you have an offer that got accepted, hallelujah, you're so crazy, you're so happy. That's the beginning of the closing period. And usually if it's not an all cash offer, it's not going to be swift and easy. And even that can have hiccups. However, the closing period, we're looking at about a month of your life, and a lot of things that can potentially go wrong. So we are looking at two sides coming together, that we have to make sure that we have a meeting of the minds on many levels. It's not, so it's, you know, it has to do with negotiation, yes, but also diplomacy, handling emotions, you know, psychology, numbers, you know, so many different things that go into this, right? So we get to hold our client's hand, but we also keep an eye on all the pots burning over there in the kitchen to make sure that nothing gets burned, really, right? So, and a lot of these things, we keep them from it so they don't have to worry about it. I mean, not that we're not saying something, but it's just our job to make sure that we bring it to closing. So I kind of equal it to landing a plane. And so I always keep my clients from jumping up and down and drinking champagne until we know that we have landed.
The wheels are on the ground.
We need to land. I'm like, okay, we're almost landed. We've almost landed. We're landing. So this jumbo jet. So let's just land. Exactly. And then we pop the champagne when we land. So that's good. So anyways, I love, you know, the enthusiasm you have and everything. How about that artwork in that house?
That whole house, everything about that house.
The light fixtures.
Yeah.
The views from the windows, the windows in the closet.
Yeah.
I paid attention. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. How many times you watch it?
Once.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So you need detail-oriented, enthusiastic people.
Yeah.
That's what we are. So yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, it's going to be fun. Zoom is giving me a warning here of 6 minutes and 22 seconds because they're telling me I need to upgrade if I want to go more than that. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll upgrade, whatever. But I was just curious, did you see that message pop on the screen earlier or no? You didn't see anything. Yeah, you didn't see anything.
Yeah, I can see it.
You saw the message where it said upgrade?
Oh, no, I didn't see that. No.
Okay, good. Okay, well, it's because sometimes I can't tell, you know, what it says. Anyway, that's side note. Zoom world. So we're still, but you know what? Look at the Zoom world. Zoom world is letting us connect like this that we wouldn't even think of before.
Yeah,
right?
No, it's really great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So, so moving forward, tell me what is exciting for the town of Truckee, and it sounds like you are focused on new construction a lot. So, are there any new developments there? And when I come to visit, and I probably will come because I am due for a visit in Tahoe.
Sounds great.
I have to see if I can talk my husband into it, maybe to come over there for a weekend or so. But I do want to go and take a tour. So tell me what's going on. What's on the, on the horizon?
Yeah, so there's lots of stuff happening in Truckee with regards to projects coming online. We've got a couple big multifamily projects that are going to be coming out of the ground in the rail yard, right? So that's downtown. It's kind of the expansion of downtown. There's a Coldstream project that is right by Donner Memorial State Park, where there are just really probably 25% of the way into the build out, and they've got some beautiful townhomes in there. There'll also be a mixed use commercial component. And then there's 125 or so single family home sites that surround these beautiful ponds that are going to be built out over the next several years. And community wise, we're really focusing on trying to bring a bunch of apartments online, because, you know, much like a lot of places, we're having problems with the delta between, you know, the construction costs and the affordability of what our service, you know, providers in our community can afford to pay. So I'm actually,
yeah, I touched upon this on my previous podcast when I came back from Legislative Day in Sacramento. I was talking about just those situations, right? With housing. But I was just about to ask you about the price points, right, for these great developments, because of course that beautiful home is $4.2 million.
yeah.
I was wondering, what is the range?
So price points across the board. I'd say right now for Truckee, entry level multifamily, so a townhouse or a condominium is going to be in the 500,000 range. And then entry level for a single family home, either new construction or sort of new, I guess you're not too old. You're going to be, you can still find stuff in the 700. Construction costs are starting at about $500 a square foot right now. So, you know, there's a big discrepancy between what it costs to build. I mean, I like to say that we have the perfect storm of building codes up here, because we've got wildland urban interface, and that's your fire, right, codes. We've got California seismic for earthquakes. We've got Title 24, which is your California energy codes. And then we have these tremendous snow loads. You know, we've got to build these buildings that can hold all this snow. So the cost for us to build up here is extremely expensive. And so then the cost to buy is extremely expensive. You know, and if you want a brand new house, you're going to be spending $1.5 million for starters. And it's going to go up from there. So again, I'm trying to work on a bigger development deal, bringing in some developers from the Bay Area to build about 400 apartments right now, so that we can have an economy of scale, so that we can house all of the people that make our community work.
Exactly, because we need everybody.
Yeah,
but yeah, it is a beautiful community. And I invite everyone to check it out. I'm losing my voice a little bit here, so I'm sorry. But it's so good to see you, Dave.
Thank you.
So much fun to have you. And I will include the links to your website, darling. And I will see you soon, okay? Best to you and your wife and the baby.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited for you again. And yeah, and we'll be in touch. So thank you so much for being a guest on my show and being so gracious and sharing all this information for me.
Thanks for having me on, and let me know when you're going to come on up the hill, and I'll give you the tour of the area and answer.
Definitely, I can't wait. Yes, definitely. Thank you so much again.
You bet. Okay.
Have a lovely day.
Bye.